What's going on, y'all? I want to welcome y'all back to another show. Today's guest, I want to bring on. He's got 15 years of experience in the foreclosure real estate market, and I know he's gonna be able to drop some game on y'all. His name is Reggie Pegues. He's the CEO and owner of the Pegues Group Solutions, and we go tap in with him today and see what's going on. What's going on, Reggie?
My guy, what's happening? How you doing?
I'm good, man. Same old thing, different day, man. I appreciate you for joining the show, man. I know these people
Listen,
need
I
this knowledge.
appreciate you for allowing me to be here on your platform. So I'm so grateful to be here today.
Oh no, bro, that's nothing. I'm glad you made some time to come on the show because I know you're a very busy man. So, my first question I would ask you is, what inspired you to specialize in real estate, particularly serving the Black community and facing foreclosures?
Well, let me give you a little backstory. I started off in real estate, let's say like over 20 some odd years ago. And one of the things that I learned by reading Think and Grow Rich, Robert Kiyosaki, was that the secret to wealth is in the game of Monopoly. And I used to love playing Monopoly. And the essence of the game is four greenhouses, one red hotel. And you know, when you play Monopoly, when you land on a hotel, what you pay out is much greater than that. What led me into working with our people in terms of foreclosure was the fact that many people who are mostly
Mhm.
impacted by foreclosure live in urban areas. Now, I know that statistically they may tell you now that, oh, foreclosures are on the decline, but if you did statistics in college, anybody knows that whoever controls the numbers, you can make those numbers say whatever you want. So what they're doing is they're pulling demographics from the suburbs and not the urban areas, which
Oh,
are the most hardest hit. So our people are still recoiling, even though it's 4 years, 5 years later, they're still recoiling from COVID. The impact was that a lot of people got downsized, lost their jobs. Biden administration created this artificial income and economy where people were getting those stimmy checks, but they weren't doing the right things with them. You know, there were moratoriums on mortgages. There were moratoriums on tenants having to pay their rents, all that. But so when they were getting those stimmy checks, they're putting rims on Toyotas. They're going to Cancun. They're getting 97,000 square inch TVs, all this other stuff. They're barbecuing,
right.
top shelf sirloin, doing all this stuff. They're doing all this stuff and failing to realize that the party wasn't going to go on forever and the bill was going to come due. So fast forward to a year and a half later, um, when the moratoriums went away, people are saying, your lenders, banks, whatever, they're saying, where my money at? And now you're 40, $50,000 in the hole.
Wow, that's crazy because, and it's so severe because you see it happening everywhere. So let me ask you this: what is, in your 15 years of experience, what is the most common misconception our people have about foreclosure?
That I would say that they think that the machine stops, that
Mm,
they think that the machine cares. That's our biggest folly when it comes to the thing that I want to add, Eric, is the fact that the American dream, as it is portrayed to our people, is actually the American nightmare.
okay.
And here's why. Just because you qualify, you go to a bank, and generally, if you don't know, when we go to a bank, what they offer us in terms of rates and things like that are generally higher than what they charge themselves.
Right, right, right.
So you're paying more,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they'll get you qualified. But they already understand that within the first year to the first 5 years, you're probably going to foreclose because you're not going to be able to understand that adjustable rates are just that. So let's say you get in at a certain interest rate, but it's not a fixed rate, it's an adjustable rate.
Mm-hmm.
So you're paying, let's say, keep numbers round. Let's say your outgoings are $1,000,
All
but
right.
then interest rates go up. Now they're 1,500.
Mm-hmm.
So now you got a $1,500 a month mortgage payment, but your job ain't paying you more.
That's
So
true.
that is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
There's a problem. The second level to this is that because of the American, and I do refer to this as American nightmare as it relates to our people, is that it doesn't, it's an emotional thing,
Mm-hmm.
Eric.
Mm-hmm.
People are very emotional because you buy into this thing of saying, yes, I position myself, I own a home. But then the psychology of it is when you're going into foreclosure, I'm failing in some kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm letting my family down. I'm disappointing myself because this dream that they said was supposed to be the entitlement of every American, the rules are different for us.
Okay, so and I agree with you 100% on that. I mean, not that's not even up for argument. What are the early warning signs that a family might be at risk of foreclosure, and what should they do first?
That's a great question. That's a great question. The early warning signs are the obvious ones. You know that you missed that payment.
That's number one, right? That's
You
that's
know
out
that
the
you
gate.
missed the payment.
Yes.
And the second thing is the phone calls and the letters start coming.
Mm-hmm.
It's a warning sign. It's a clear warning sign. You know, like I said earlier, the machine doesn't care, the machine doesn't stop.
So what
So I
should they do
guess,
first?
well, what they should do first is that they actually should, the moment that you know that you're going to miss a payment or you're falling behind, and this is the challenge. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that we really, and what we teach here at Pegues Group Solutions is the education component, because what's lacking in regular education and just as a whole, we as a people fall behind greatly when it comes to financial literacy.
Yes, sir.
So the step that you want to take is that you want to contact your lender first. You want to contact your lender first, and here's why. Legally, your two things that the person that you got the mortgage from doesn't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to default on the loan, and they don't want to take back the property. And the
Right.
reason why is, if you understand, you do. I know you understand profit and loss. You understand balance sheets. I know you
Yes, sir.
understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But for your audience, to break it down, uh, the balance sheet for the bank, if they take back your loan and they take back your property, that it shows up as a negative
Mm-hmm.
on their property. And I want to interject this little caveat. They'll tell you that buying a home is an asset. Now we're gonna get into a little bit of financial literacy here. They
Right.
tell you that buying a home is an asset, but in reality, it's not. Here's why. It's a key that can be beneficial to creating wealth if you have a plan. But the reason why it's not an asset is this. Very simply put, using Robert Kiyosaki speak, an asset feeds you, a liability eats you.
That's good. That's good.
Meaning that if it's your primary residence and
Mm-hmm.
you're putting out money to live there,
Right.
it's actually a liability. But it's an asset to your lender because they loaned you money. And when you have a mortgage, you're actually signing over the rights to that lender that if you default, they can utilize and take back that asset.
Wow. So how how do you, because with your group and the solutions you create, when many people feel ashamed and they're facing that hardship, how do you help families shift their mindset from fear to action?
First, we understand the psychological trauma of it,
Mm-hmm.
and we exude empathy.
Okay, that's
We
good.
exude empathy toward the client. We make sure that they understand that we understand your situation now. Again, another caveat: there are people out here that are in the game who don't approach it from a holistic perspective. We do.
Mm-hmm.
We believe in law of attraction. We believe in what we send out, we'll get back. So it may not happen today, may not happen next week, but if you're out there doing dirt, it's eventually going to come back to you.
For sure.
So that's the first step. We show empathy to the client and make sure that they understand that we are here to assist them. We're here to use our expertise to take them by the hand and step by step lead them through the process in the choppy waters of negotiating a foreclosure.
Okay, so what are some overlooked resources or home programs in the black community that we overlook or that we should know about? That every black homeowner should know about.
First, don't be ashamed to ask for help.
That's number one. Always. I agree.
Don't be ashamed to ask for help. Um, we as a community, we must work together. And here at Pegues Group Solutions, we highly emphasize the fact of education.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here's the thing. When I help a client, the way that we have it structured, if you're in foreclosure, our primary function is to be able to help you persevere your credit. Because if you get a foreclosure hit on your credit report, who's going to allow you to move into their property? You're going to have a difficulty being able to rent the next house or to secure a loan or a mortgage to do that next step. So that's our bottom line. Secondly, I'm going to give you a little insider secret, give your audience an insider secret.
Okay.
The way that we have it structured, generally, the person that's the distressed seller that needs to get out from underneath that mortgage, you're not going to pay me.
Mm-hmm.
The money's not going to come out of your pocket.
Okay.
In many cases, unfortunately, Eric, by the time a client's case reaches my desk, the window of opportunity for them to negotiate with the lender, that window is closed.
Mm.
And that's the thing that's very heartbreaking and tough for us here. But we can navigate you out from under the loss.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's where the psychology and the emotionality comes in. Yes, I know you lived in that house for X amount of years. Yes, it might have been your mama in them house, but the system doesn't care.
Right.
So our function here is to persevere and to protect your ability to move forward and have a fresh start.
To
So
basically be resilient against the world.
exactly.
Okay.
Resilient against the world. I like how you threw that in there. Nice
Yes, sir.
plug.
Right.
But the reality of it is there are resources in your community, but many of these resources are only beneficial if you act quickly.
Wow. And I hope y'all understanding what he's saying. Your mom's house, the people that your family has worked for these houses, y'all need to check in with Reggie so y'all can at least see if he can help you hold on to these houses instead of just giving it back to the system. The system is not there for you. You
No.
see your parents getting older. They becoming they're older. Now the responsibility is on you to reach out to these resources. So at the end of the show, Reggie's going to give you his information. Check in with him so he can see if he can help you hold on to that house. Because believe it or not, more than likely that house is paid for, right? So That's an
It could
asset
be.
at that point. It could most
It
of the
could
times.
be.
I mean, if your parents bought it, yeah, like
But
you said,
then what happens in the financial space is again financial literacy. Um, I am not opposed to going on a dope vacation.
right.
I'm not opposed to having nice things.
Hmm.
I'm not opposed to having experiences. You and I just shared an experience. We just coming back from Georgia,
Hmm.
you know, and people look at us and say, "Well, you're an entrepreneur." No, this applies to everybody. But we did something that paid for our experience for us to be in the room. And I'm not saying that it was all that much because money is a point of view and it's relative. What might be a lot of money to you may not be a lot of money to me, and vice versa. But you can have these things and the financial institutions, because you got to understand their job is they make their money by lending money.
Hmm.
Okay. They make their money by putting you in a situation where you're in debt. So you brought up the point of um, the house may be paid for, but then there's another mechanism. They dangle this carrot in your face and say, "Hey, listen, they understand this thing called equity.
Hmm.
So you
Hmm.
sitting on equity. Let's just again using round numbers. Let's say you got $100,000 worth of equity in your property,
Right.
and they'll come along because they have access to city records. These uh, uh, closing houses, people that can pull up your data. Um, they're looking, and then they start sending you information. Who? Why? Ooh, won't you? Hey, Rick, Coach Wiggins, you got like 200,000 worth of equity. Won't you refinance? Or won't you do what's called a HELOC, a home equity line of credit? Why
Right.
don't you? Why don't you take some of that money out at a very high interest rate? Because you need a vacation. You need to get that car that you don't need, that you necessarily can't afford.
Right. You
You
can't.
know.
Right.
So let's take some of that equity out.
Hmm. I got you. Now they got you still stuck in that trap. That makes sense.
So even though the fact that the house might be paid off,
It's not paid.
it's still a new reset. It's a new mortgage,
Hmm.
and you still got to pay it.
Right. Right.
And there is a game. If you want to take out some equity to do something, somebody might be sick. Your
Hmm.
mom and them, you taking care of them. You might need some money to take care of their medical needs. Okay, I get that.
Hmm.
But what you need to also do is figure out at least 10% of what you're taking out and set it aside in a high yield interest bearing bank account, or in a Roth or something that's going to generate some interest, and you don't touch that money. But when it comes to your monthly payment, you pay them back with their own money.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that's a strategy.
No, that's great. That's great stuff. What financial habits or systems would you encourage black homeowners to start adopting to protect their property long term now?
Man, you hit me with all the good questions today. I
Bro,
appreciate you.
hey, bro,
I
that's the raw
appreciate you.
report. Hey, look, these folks need this information. That's why I was like, I
Oh,
gotta get
Lord,
Reggie
do
on
they?
here.
Lord, do they? That's another great question.
Thank you.
Um, Something that we generally don't do as a community, which is connected. Again, I'm going to keep harping on financial literacy.
Hmm.
Um, Budget.
Ooh, that's a good one. Hmm.
You have to understand how much is coming in as opposed to how much is going out. You gotta, and listen, okay? Full transparency.
Hmm.
Okay. I am not, I was not that dude.
I mean, None
I
of
was
us
not
was. They didn't teach us that. Right. So how's
exactly.
Richie?
I
Yeah,
was not that dude.
right.
I was not that dude. And fortunately, uh, I have someone in my life who loves numbers
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and
okay.
knows where every penny goes. Every penny.
Right.
Okay. So I'm not worried about my money per se, but what I would encourage is that be honest with yourself. Be honest with that person in the mirror and say, if you don't know, you don't have to know everything. There's another quote. I quote Robert Kiyosaki often, but in Rich Dad Poor Dad, one of the things that Rich Dad showed him was this. Excuse me. You don't have to be the smartest person on the team. You just have to own the team.
That's it. That's it. Like Vusi taught us, you gotta be the founder.
Exactly.
You know what's so funny about that? I want y'all to hear what he's saying. He keep referencing Robert Siriaki, but what he basically telling you is go read
Kiyosaki,
the
bro.
go go read the book. Rich Dad Poor Dad is basically what he tried to tell you. See, I'm reading between the lines, so I'm gonna give it to y'all. Go
Uh-huh.
read the book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. He's giving you jewels.
And that's just one.
I know, right? It's many in there, but he giving y'all so he trying to lead you in a
No, I
direction.
mean that's just one book. You
Oh
pointed
yeah,
out
yeah.
when you first
Oh,
came on. You see, that's just one part of my library. There's another part over here.
you
And
gotta read that
personal
knowledge.
development is important.
Mm-hmm.
And we do need a team. If you don't understand a certain thing, it's not and shouldn't be a problem for you to go and reach out to somebody who does. We got to get past this, Enrique, as a people of not asking for help.
Wow, you just hit it on the head. We was not meant to do it alone. We was not meant to do it alone. And if you think you're meant to do it alone, that's probably why you haven't made no progress. Let's just be honest with you, because they're stacking one brick at a time. Them days over. The world is moving
As,
fast.
as we would say in the community, and you'll relate to this, you just dropped a nugget.
I'm just saying, bro. Look, let me ask you this. I know you got tons of success stories, but can you give me a success story of a family that was on the brink of foreclosure, but with your help and your group solution, they was able to turn things around, so people can know what that feel like, what that look like.
Great. And thank you for that question. Um, let's use a case study of John.
Okay.
John actually was the son of a person that I was mentoring,
Okay.
and they knew what I did. Now, had been working with them for a good while, and they came to me and they said, "Listen, my son got a situation. He got downsized. He was impacted by COVID. He lost work, and he went for over a year not paying his mortgage, not paying his taxes, not paying his water, all these other ancillary things that come with home ownership." So we went and we looked at his case, and I was able to pull up the numbers and do the research. First of all, I had to work with him again to get over the emotional hump because he was a single dad. He had two daughters, one daughter that was at Penn State, another daughter that was getting ready to graduate out of high school. And if you don't think it impacts, his financial situation was impacting his daughter's college experience because even though she might have applied for grants and loans, they do look at your parents because they become the co-signer.
That's good.
They
Yes.
become the co-signer to your loan that you're taking out for school.
Mm-hmm.
So with him being in jeopardy, the bursar office, was coming to her and saying, how you gonna back this money because your father he
Right.
looking
Throwing
real
him under the
shaky in
bus.
these streets.
Right. Right.
He looking real shaky in these streets. So how we gonna do this? And started working with him. So fast forward, we went through the process. Now, one of the remedies because see again, a year had passed. he didn't have the resources to pay the bank.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the remedies is that we have to liquidate the property.
Okay.
And another level to our business is that we also, in terms, because we're an investment firm also, we wholesale properties.
Mm-hmm.
So I keep a roster, or I have the ability to find motivated buyers, because there's always buyers looking to acquire properties in certain regions at a discount.
Mm-hmm.
So with what the equity was in the property that he had accrued, I was able to negotiate a deal with a motivated buyer who likes to buy, who fortunately was looking to buy properties in that specific area.
Okay.
And I just brought the two parties together, and I was able to garner a commission from bringing those two parties together and coming up with a solution for that. So the solution was he couldn't afford to pay what was owed. And
Mm-hmm.
again, it was one of those things coming out of COVID, artificial economy, getting those STEMI checks, not putting that money away, all that stuff. So the only resolve and remedy in those cases is that you're gonna have to liquidate the property. So I was able to take John and put him together with a buyer, and there was enough equity at the time where we were able to get him out from underneath that mortgage, satisfy what was owed to the bank, and then put some money into his pocket, save his credit, so he could move on with a fresh start. The buyer got a property below discount market value.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a win-win-win all the way around. So that's just a quick case scenario of how the process works.
No, that's actually real good stuff. I got two questions actually, but you said something in when you was responding, and I just want to touch on that a minute. So when you're working closely with families in crisis, like you said, the emotional side, how do you help them navigate the emotional side of this problem at the end of the day, this problem? Because that emotional side, when you just said that the dad is going through this and the daughter's feeling it, that can get tough. So how do you help them? Because I know you're helping them.
Yeah. And the answer to that question is this: tough love.
Oh, hey, that's what the raw report about. So yes, I'm glad you're giving them tough love. Yep.
Tough
Okay.
love.
Speak on that for me.
But the reality of it is, everybody's not going to receive it. Let me share this analogy, okay?
Okay.
Because some of us, have been to church,
Mm-hmm.
so we understand that book that they refer to as the Bible. So the essence of it is, and the question that I ask my students or even clients is this: as we understand what that book is to represent in the world, the question is it the desire of the Creator that everyone be saved? And the answer,
You tell me.
yes.
I'm gonna say yeah. I'm saying you tell me
Yes.
because I'm trying to figure out
That's
what
the,
you're doing.
that's the essence. That's the
Okay.
desire that everyone will be saved
From what?
from the evils of the world.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's what the book represents.
Yes, sir.
Then I follow that question up with, will everybody be saved?
Not even right.
Exactly.
No, right.
So what's the mitigating factor as to why everybody won't be saved?
Choice.
Choice. Or as it relates to the book and that thing called religion, free will.
Same thing. Right.
So when I deal, yeah, right. But when I deal with a client, I'm saying, look, you let me know what you want to do.
Okay. Right.
You let me know what you want to do. Because here's the reality of it. You're in this situation. And unfortunately, it don't care about how you feel. It don't care about the memories that you created. It don't care that this was your mama in them house. It don't care that your child took their first. It don't care.
Right. None of that. The
It
system
don't care
doesn't.
about any of that part.
Right.
Now, You can sit and stew in your emotions, but the machine is going to keep going.
Right.
So you can allow me to help you, or here's what's going to happen. And a little quick backstory. You're talking to somebody who, because I didn't understand this early on,
Mm-hmm.
who was evicted twice
Okay. I got you.
from rentals.
So
Evicted.
you able to help people because you
So
done
I
been through some things.
understand that. I
Right.
get that. You don't know what it's like when you go out to work and come home and there's a notice on your door and they done changed the locks. All your stuff is inside and you can't get to it.
That hit different.
A whole lot different.
Yeah.
So when you're faced with that, the emotion is tremendous. And we, like I said, we show empathy and we show sympathy, but we also come with a action plan to say, look, here's the benefits of working with us, and here's what's going to happen if you don't.
So, and I appreciate that you said that because tough love, that was one of the reasons, like I said, for me even starting the Raw Report, because I don't know how to sugarcoat things. I have to give it to you raw. It's just got to be like that. My question to you is, when, or maybe you don't feel like this, but I'm listening to you. When did you start to see this differently from a career to more of a calling? Because that sounds like a calling, the work you're doing.
That's great. That's a great question. My wife says that often. She says
Okay,
that,
okay. It ain't just me. That's what I'm
right,
hearing. Like, no, bro,
right,
this
right.
is real deal.
She says that often. And there's been in my journey, there's been, oh, you should be in the pulpit. You should go into politics. And I'm in those rooms,
Right.
but I love the freedom and the latitude to be able to move in the manner that I do. I appreciate you calling it a calling, but for me, it's actually, because each and every person that's under the sound of our voices right now, each and every person that will view this, each and every person in this world, we come into this world with an assignment.
Yes, sir. I agree 100%.
We come in with an assignment. And I'm just taking the gifts that I've been given and the assignment that I've been given, and I'm blending them together to create results as it relates to our people.
And I'm actually glad you said that, because that's going to help me pivot into this next question. With the systemic barriers, so whatever, that they put in our way, what policies or changes do you believe that can make the biggest difference for us as a people?
Are you talking about from the government perspective?
I'm just saying, sister.
What can we do as a people to help ourselves?
No.
Okay.
No, that's a different question. The barriers. So I don't know if it's just so it don't always. It's government. It started at government, then it started trickling down. But the systemic barriers that they put in our way. What policies do you think that could change, make a big difference for us? Like, what should we be fighting for to get this system changed?
Okay, this is going to sound. That's a great question, and this is going to sound radical. My response: stop looking for the people whose intention it is to oppress us, to help us.
Stop looking for help from people who was never there to help you.
Exactly.
Ooh, Lord.
Now, in answer to your question, for my generation, our generation, we were taught, because if you're not clear, if you can't tell by how I speak, I'm from New York. So we were taught, particularly being raised up in the 60s and the early 70s, we were taught to infiltrate from within, meaning you have to get yourselves into those rooms. You have to understand how they played the game. Learn the rules. Then throw the rope back over the fence and bring some people with you.
I agree with that 100%. But I gotta pause on that, and I'll say it this way: how can you do that? And it's a question because I agree with that. But they move the goal. They've been moving, especially these last 20, 30
all the
years.
time.
They stay moving the
All
goalposts.
the time. So, but see, here's the thing. You and I we're solution orientated people.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, okay, they move the goalposts.
Go learn
And
the new rules. Go learn them again.
exactly.
Okay.
You're
Okay. I
gonna
just
you're
want to
gonna
make
either
sure it was clear.
complain about that. You're either gonna complain about that, or
Ain't no
you're
time
going
for
to
complaining.
adjust.
Ain't no time for complaining. We got to make moves. So, like you
And
said,
how do we
what's up?
get there? Personal development. You made a statement, and that's just like I said, a little bit. The camera's catching a little bit of the books. I have books all by me and my desk.
Same here.
And again, I read several books at a time, and people are like, "Well, how can you
Me
do
too.
that?"
I
Well,
do too.
well, you did that in school. You had a math book, you had an English book, you had a history
Right.
book. So you were reading from several books at a time.
Filling your
So
way up.
it's how you because see you get what you think about.
Yes,
You
sir.
become what you think about. So personal development is key. Now, when it comes to these laws, yes, if you don't understand, ask a question. The dumbest question there is in the world is the one that you don't ask.
Ooh, I ain't heard that in years, but that's 100% correct right there. Ooh, I hope
That's
y'all
the
listen.
dumbest question. Don't be afraid. I went back to college. I went back to college in my mid to late 40s
Wow.
after being out of school 20 some odd years or more.
Mm, mm,
I
mm.
went back to college. Now I'm in there. In many cases, age wise, I might have been older than my professors. And I'm in there with all these young cats and all these young women and all that. And I made it clear to my professors that I may be redundant and I'm going to keep asking the same question over and over and over again until I get it.
Right.
I don't care if it annoys you.
Right.
My tuition is paying your salary. Your job is to teach me and educate me. So I'm going to keep asking until I get it. Now, psychologically, I had to get over the fact that some of these young people got it. But then you do what we do. Like we just came out of experience out of TSP game plan. You network. You have conversations. You make yourself open to the fact. The key to wisdom, in case your audience doesn't know, the key to wisdom is this: knowing that you don't know,
And admitting it.
admitting it, and being cool with it.
Yes.
Because the objective is greater than your trepidation for not taking those steps.
Man, I hope y'all listening at these bars he in here dropping. He is giving y'all some game today. Let me ask you this, Reggie. What
Yes,
would
sir.
you what advice would you give the younger generation to get into real estate and start to focus on the social impact they can have moving things forward? Like you just said, throw the rope over. That's basically what you're doing. You're throwing the
Right.
rope over, helping them pull up. So what advice would you give them?
Only if they want it. But the reality of it is that right now, it's understanding what money really is.
Oh, that's a good one. What? Money's a tool. What do you think
Yeah.
it is? Okay.
Yes.
All right. All right. I'm just asking. Okay.
But
All right.
then what kind of tool? Because see, even with a tool, a hammer will hurt you if you don't know how to use it properly.
100%. Money will hurt you if you don't know how to use it properly.
And what happens is with the young people today, and I guess we were accused of the same thing by our elders, is that we really don't understand the power. It's not the paper, it's not the fiat currency. You don't want money. Well, let's break it down this way. You go to work or have a job not for the sake of working, but to create what is called or referred to as an income, fiat currency, that gives you the ability to do stuff. That's what you really want money for. It's not for the sake of money, it's for what it can do for you. So that's why you want money. But if you're out, and here's the game, if you're spending more than what you're taking in, if you're living above your means instead of below your means, if you're not coming up with strategies and linking up with others who can help you get it. May I give an example to your audience
Please, please.
in terms of
I'm enjoying this.
in
Yes.
terms of real estate? So I'm gonna give you a hack. This is gonna be a multi-million-dollar hack for you and for your audience.
Okay.
Okay. One of the things that we got to stop doing in the Black community is pushing our children out into the world unprepared.
Oh, that's good. Yes, sir.
And you might say, Reggie, what do you mean by that?
Mm-hmm.
I am fortunate right now, and I'm not saying this to brag, I'm saying this as a matter of fact.
Mm-hmm.
I'm involved right now with the $8 billion project
Mm-hmm.
of a professional ball team. I live in New York. I live right across the street from Citi Field where the New York Mets play. But they're desiring to acquire a gambling license that the state has already allocated, but they want to make their location a spot. They partnered with Hard Rock Cafe and hotels, and it's a big project.
Mm-hmm.
I'm positioned and been fortunate to be in the rooms where I'm making sure that our Black community is not overlooked when the money starts coming.
Mm-hmm.
So we're doing that. So what I'm saying is, and here's the hack, make sure that you guys write this down. If not, make sure you watch the replay, or you reach out to Eric, or you reach out to me if you need more information. So we push our kids out of the nest too soon. What I'm able to see by being in these rooms, I'm very observant. I pay attention to detail. So I'm watching how these other cultures are moving.
Mm-hmm.
So one philosophy when it comes to real estate, what they do, they stay together. And you might laugh, like a Latino community, Jewish communities, Asian communities, they'll stay deep in a house.
Mm-hmm.
But they got a plan.
Exactly.
They got that one house. So everybody's working. So Eric, it might be this month, you're gonna pay the electric bill. This month, I might pay the mortgage. Somebody's paying for the groceries. But the money it's called community wealth. They're building community wealth. But what they're doing is they also encourage invest, put your money in something that's going to make your money work. And then what happens is when your numbers is up, Eric, you got your weight up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then what we can do is you're going to peel off. And as a family, we're going to help you get your spot. But you're not going to do it in debt. We're going to be able to put that down payment down. We're going to be able to get you good numbers. And then you just rinse and repeat. So for you young people, instead of, I got to go get me a spot. I got to go get my own apartment. I got to me, right?
Right.
No.
Right.
If you really want to create wealth,
Mm-hmm.
you'll find a multi-unit property, a 2 up to a 4, right? If you do it and construct the numbers and you want to know more, make sure that you reach out to me. You live in one unit, have your tenants pay for that. You're building up equity. But when you move in, you can do it by yourself, yeah. But if you move in like maybe with your cousin or a couple of family members, and y'all are stacking your paper while this is working, then you can peel off, rinse and repeat, and do it over again. But this is a philosophy that we need to start teaching our children. Our oldest son, that was a philosophy that I shared with him before he got married. I said, listen, let's get an investment property. You get an FHA loan, you live in one unit. Okay, your tenant's paying for the property, you're building up equity, and then when you decide to get married, you can peel off and you can get that house that you want to get without the debt.
Right.
So I hope that answers your question.
And making some good money. No, that answers my question. Great. And I hope y'all listening because he's dropping some jewels. Like Mexicans been doing this for years. We the one ain't caught on.
And we
So
laugh at them.
yeah, right, exactly. But like you said, it's time to eat. This is a new day, y'all. So it's time to make things happen now.
Exactly.
So um, I got a few rapid questions for you. So I'm
No
gonna ask
problem.
you. Okay, if you don't have a problem, I'll ask you a few rapid questions. So this is just the first thing that come to your mind when I ask these questions. What is the biggest mistake homeowners make when struggling with their payments?
Not planning for them.
One myth about foreclosure you wish you could erase forever. Myth. One myth.
That you don't need help.
Ooh. Most under scrutinized resource homeowners should know about. I
How
say under scrutinized, I'm sorry. Most underutilized.
underutilized? Um, Personal knowledge.
Personal knowledge. Yes. Like you said, personal development. You got to get in these books and do some reading. One book, podcast, or resource that changed the way you approach real estate in the foreclosure industry that you're in.
Ooh, that's a tough question. Um, there's so much. That's a tough question. Hmm. That would be something along the lines of any book that I've read that helped me to understand how money really works. So something like Think and Grow Rich, or right now, how to deal with procrastination. Something like Eat That Frog, or books like that.
Okay. Financial literacy at the end of the day, like what you've
Yeah,
been honing on all through this. The machine
right.
don't care. If you don't go get that financial literacy, that's on you. You
And
can't
if you
blame
don't
us.
ask
That's
questions,
on you. Right. If you don't ask questions. Oh, that's a good one too. I forgot you gave us that one too. All right. The last one. If you had a billboard with one message for struggling homeowners, what would it say?
I'm here to serve.
Oh, that means reach out for help and let this man help you. He has the help, but y'all got to reach out. All right. If so, that's the end of the rapid fire questions. This is my last couple questions. Then we'll go get your information so that people can get to you. If someone listening right now is behind on their mortgage and feels stuck, what's the very first step you think they should take today?
It's going to sound redundant, but the very first step is, depending on where you are in the process. If you're new in the process, reach out to your lender and say, hey, because legally they're obligated. If you catch them and the window is still open, they're legally obligated to help you manage that situation. Because two things, like I said early on, they don't want to take back the loan, and they don't want to take back the property. So they're legally obligated to help you if it's early enough. If you've missed that window opportunity, seek a professional such as myself that can help you navigate these waters.
I hope y'all heard what he said, because he basically said they're legally obligated to help you. They are legally obligated to help you. So don't feel shame. Get on that phone and call for that help. How can people support you in the work you do, whether they're homeowners or community members that just want to help?
Well, you can reach out to me. You can follow me on Facebook at Reggie Pegues. That's Pegues on Facebook. Or you can follow me on Instagram, which is _Reggie Pegues. Or you can follow me on TikTok too, which is Reggie205. You can DM me. Make sure that you reach out to me. I have a lot of free, matter of fact, I have some things for your audience. I have some free gifts. If you DM me and send me your email, I will send you some of my ebooks, some things that deal with the 10 things that are holding you back as it relates to real estate success. That's something brand new. I'm going to be doing a intensive at the end of April 19th and 20th, which is a really deep dive into real estate for first-time home buyers, first-time investors, and for those who want to just know how you can do what I do and to turn a profit and build a business part-time.
Hey, so there you go. Y'all heard it from the man himself. 15, over 20 some years, really. He just broke it down for foreclosure for 15. Over 20 some years in real estate. And he's here to help you. He told y'all to reach out to him. And the people I bring on, y'all already know they want to help you. So reach out to him and make sure that you get in his intensive class that he can teach you the stuff that he know. So y'all already know what I like to say. Stay real, stay raw, stay grounded in your faith, and walk boldly in your purpose. Till the next time, y'all, I'm out.